So with Nuno's future still up in the air at Forest, there are reports out today to suggest that Forest are looking elsewhere. Welcome to your Forest news. Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome to your latest Forest news. Coming up, I thought it was a good time to give you guys an update on Nuno, the whole situation. Is he staying? Is he going? Does he want to be sacked? Does he want to stay at Forest forever? So I'll go through all the latest bits and bobs on that for you as well. Don't forget to check out football prizes. If you want to win so many Forest prizes, go check it out now. There's signed frame shirts for Ryan Yates, £1,000 cash giveaways, all kinds of things. So go scan this QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments below. Make sure you go check it out because a lot of those prizes are still up for grabs. Make sure you've liked, make sure you've subscribed. Oh, and by the way, I'll leave on the end screen my prediction videos for week 3 over on our second channel, the Footy Network. So give that a watch if you're bored later, and make sure you subscribe there as well. Okay, so let's kick this off, and there is some names starting to float around for Nuno's replacement, and that one that's cropped up today, the main one, is Marco Silva from Fulham. We all know he's had a good relationship with Marinakis, worked with him before and what have you, and Marinakis is an admirer. And there's an article out today to suggest that Forest are looking at him. Now, before I tell you whether or not I think Nuno's staying or going, let's run through this article and kind of give you guys the headlines from it. So it says here, Forest set their sights on Premier League boss as Nuno replacement, with Marinakis a big admirer. Despite guiding us to European football last season, Nuno's future with Forest is thought to be less than certain after a very public fallout with the owner Marinakis. The Greek businessman stormed onto the pitch at the City Ground last season. It's completely irrelevant to this, but anyway. And now Football Insider claims that the Nottinghamshire club wants to line up Fulham boss Marco Silva as Nuno's replacement. Their sources say Marinakis is a big admirer of Silva, and the owner wants a proven Premier League manager who would be able to make an instant impact with a squad that he is convinced is well equipped to challenge for a European place this season, while also competing in the Europa League. Silva has been at Craven Cottage since July 21 and guided them back to the Premier League in 22. Summer of 23, he turned down a £40 million 2-year deal from the Saudi Pro League Al Ahly to stay in the Premier League. Football Insider also suggests Silva rejected an approach from Spurs this summer. It goes on to say Forest may be hoping to use Silva's frustration over transfers as a way of luring him to from the London club. Fulham has spent the smallest amount this summer, having invested around 400k, is that it, on 2 arrivals. The former Hull and Everton boss spoke publicly about his frustration with Fulham's transfer dealings, saying it was not normal and that they would have a big problem on their hands if deals are not done before the window closes. And he goes on to talk about his frustration. Okay, so look, a lot to do that. And then, by the way, the whole Nuno, meanwhile, is set to meet with Marinakis and Edu to deal with the frictions. Let's start with that point. So Nuno said that he wanted to sit down and speak with Marinakis and Edu. Cool. That's nice. There's no confirmation that that's happened or happening. That's a request from Nuno. Now, I think it will be granted. I think it would be silly not to be granted and have that discussion. But it needs to be sorted out very quickly because at the moment, reports like that are coming out. And I don't think Forest will go in for Marco Silva because I think he would be quite expensive on a compensation package to get him out of Fulham anyway. Because after that stuff with Al Ahly, was it last year? I think he signed a new contract, if I'm not mistaken. So there would be a compensation package on that. Now, does Marinakis care about compensation packages? Probably not too much. And we know he is an admirer. But I just don't see Nuno leaving yet, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's a cry for help for him more than anything. He wanted to feel like he still got some power. I'm not on Nuno's side on this one because I think Edu is brought in to make these decisions and Nuno's just got to grin and bear it or move on to maybe a smaller club where he can have more power. And something that when I was talking to my mate Hooks about it, he said, the fact that one of the reasons Edu left Arsenal was because Edu was feeling like he didn't have enough power at Arsenal with Arteta calling a lot of the shots. So with this happening, like, the expectation is whatever job Edu went into next, he was gonna be demanding more power and more say in what happens. And because Marinakis has chased Edu for so long and wants him to look after the Empire, I don't see a scenario where if Nuno sits down with them and says it's him or me, that Marinakis will side with Nuno. Because managers will come and go. And I think Edu's done a brilliant job over this summer in the players he has brought in. And quite frankly, I don't think Adama is good, and I'm glad Edu sees it from my perspective as well. But do I think they can resolve the matter? Yes, I do. I also think that the full resolution will come after the West Ham game, because at the moment, Nuno's focus should be solely on getting 3 points from West Ham. We got the Europa League draw on Friday, and we've got the Carabao Cup draw tonight. So it's a busy week for Forest in terms of stuff that needs to happen off the pitch that are related to topics on the pitch. Once we get past West Ham, we've got the international break. There's a 2-week period there where they can thrash it out. They could do a charity boxing match, whatever it needs to be done and whatever it needs to take. They've got a bit of time there. And I also think that, let's just say Marinakis is looking to pull the trigger, then he has time there to kind of get the replacement sorted and everything else. But as things stand, my gut feeling is Nuno will not want to leave. And that if it's going to happen, he's going to have to be sacked for it to happen, if that makes sense. And I don't think Marinakis wants that to happen. Because as that report says, I think there's a lot of crap in that report, by the way. But I agree, and I believe that Marinakis does think this squad is good enough to push for the top 7, as in the European spots. So we'll have to play this one out. Now, this is one of the names, and there's been a couple of other names that have come into the fold. And these are the two that I was hearing from some of the journalists that I speak to. The big one was Ange and Mourinho. So this Marco Silva one is a fresh link. I haven't heard it from any of the journalists that I trust, right? But Ange Postecoglou, there have been reports out to suggest that he is not interested in the Forest job, even if Nuno were to go. So for those of you worried about Big Ange coming in, apparently my lookalike, my granddad or dad or whatever, apparently that's been quashed. Mourinho to Forest, I don't know if Mourinho still got it, if I'm being honest with you. And to be honest, I don't really care about this speculation, because I think the decision doesn't need to rest on who will replace him. I always stand firm that if the manager needs to go, he goes, and then you figure out who you're replacing it with, from our perspective as fans. But from a club perspective, they obviously have to have these conversations because they need succession planning. For example, when I was Cooper out, I was Cooper out. It wasn't Cooper out, but if we were to get, I don't know, Sam Allardyce, I'm Cooper in. Like, I don't need to think that far ahead as a fan because I have no say in it, right? But with this Nuno thing, if Nuno doesn't get in line, for me, he needs to be sacked. If Nuno is prepared to get in line and say, okay, fair enough, I was annoyed about the Adama stuff. I felt you screwed me over, Edu, on it. We've kind of cleared the air on everything and let's kind of move forward. Then fine, I'm happy for him to stay. But my worry is that once a relationship has that friction, once there's been that big argument, once alpha male egos get involved, anything down the road, big or small, could be the straw that breaks the camel's back on it. And is that relationship going to be strong enough? So in a sense, you could make the argument to say Nuno going now in the next coming international break, get the manager in that Marinakis wants, and then we can start to build towards the big game against Arsenal, I think it is, after the international break, may make more sense. But I just feel that Nuno will still be there for West Ham, and then after that, the decisions will have to be made. But how are you guys reading it? And at the moment, anyone who's telling you anything else, that Nuno's definitely staying or definitely going, or this manager's definitely coming, or that manager's definitely not coming in, is all just speculation right now. Until this conversation and this clear the air talks have happened, the next step doesn't follow until that does. That makes sense. So be careful what you're reading, be careful what you believe in. I'm not buying into this Silva talk. I know Forest will probably have put feelers out to ex-managers, but I would expect that from a club that's a Premier League club that's run professionally as well. So get your thoughts in, make sure you've liked, make sure you're subscribed, get your football prizes tickets, And I'll leave on the end screen my predictions for this weekend. Spoiler alert, Forest should win. See you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.